Hello and welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I am Jen.
Amanda.
Kathleen.
And we're the team behind Yarnia, and this is a podcast from us, the team behind Yarnia. And we're all about knitting, crocheting, all kinds of fun stuff you can do with yarn and fiber crafts and making and spinning and sometimes weaving and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, we may actually have to take out the sometimes weaving. Or whatever. We'll see.
I mean, I
still do tapestry weaving.
I know.
I did weaving on my cricket loom.
Select weaving.
Oh, did you
3 years ago.
Select weaving. I don't have like a 4-harness loom, and that's a lot. If I had room for a 4-harness loom, that would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Wishful weaving?
Wishful weaving?
I engage in wishful weaving.
I
have
know,
a
me
loom at
too.
home that I've never used.
I subscribe to
weaving.
YouTube
channels
about weaving, and I watch them lustfully.
It's so, it's so addictive to watch. And I mean, I still do tapestry weaving. I just did a big, the art auction for my kids' school was a big tapestry weave.
Cool.
The kids dyed the yarn for with Kool-Aid and food coloring.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
So I just did that. That was a big one. So technically still weaving, but like that was under pressure. Otherwise I would have brought it here. But like I had, I think 48 hours to finish it after I was done with the dye. So I was like, this is not leaving my house.
Do you have a picture?
Maybe.
I'll
send it. You know what? I'll send a picture.
Okay. This is at the beginning, so I'll remember to.
Right. She'll remember. She'll nag me in an appropriate amount of time, and I should be able to find it.
And I'll write it down, and maybe I can read it later.
Yes.
I've had a couple of instances of not being able to do that already today. What the heck does that note mean?
All the time. At one point, Max wrote something on our whiteboard for, it was like cookies and cream ice cream, which no one could read, including him.
Of course.
And Jonathan was like,
Battery one already died. This is turning out well.
And we are digressing.
We're already digressing.
Of our digressions today. So
I forgot what I was saying. Oh, Max's handwriting being so freaking terrible. Jonathan wrote a note next to it pointing at it. I cannot read this. And then 5 days later when Max was like, how come you didn't get the thing on the thing? He's like, if I can't read it, I can't get it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Oh, that reminds me.
Like,
Abby's going to summer camp. This is her 3rd year going to sleepaway camp. And she has a little sister this year. And she wrote her like a letter. It's illegible. So she has to rewrite it. She has to. Anyway.
Print clearly. There's a reason they have that on forms, even for grown-ups. Print clearly.
I'm like, Abby, what is this word? If I can't read it, definitely your 6-year-old.
Oh my God. A
little
6-year-old is not going to be able to do it.
So we probably should launch in with some finished objects.
We should.
Amanda has a super short time frame today.
I do. Yeah, but y'all can digress as much as you want when I'm not here, and I'll just splice it in.
Yeah. I know the episode number.
You know what? I even wrote it right on here boldly because I'm like, Jen is going to remember this one.
It's 101.
Yay! 101.
I'll forget next time.
It's 105, and I'm like, seriously.
I know. I'll be like, 102. I'll be like, I know it's
96
over 100.
again for the 3rd time.
Oh my God. I mean, approaching 100 was hard.
I know.
But I hope you guys liked our 100th episode where we went through all the things.
Yeah.
That was really fun to do.
That was super fun.
And it was fun. I watched it back with a friend.
And I loved that montage you did at the end.
Since we had a normal...
Yeah. I know. So we have a lot.
We do have a lot.
The other thing I would say is our timing was particularly terrible about when we put that episode out. Like, not only, were we somewhat still recovering from Wool Walk, it was the day of King Charles's coronation, so
and the Derby,
YouTubes were exactly, and the Kentucky Derby, exactly.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't checked that episode out yet, which we know a lot of our regular folks haven't because our numbers are way lower on it than they usually would be by now, go back and look. It was a lot of fun.
It was
and,
fun.
It was
and those who watched it did definitely enjoy it.
And it came out a little late because I posted it in the morning during the coronation. And YouTube was like buffering
everything.
Yeah. YouTube's like, I don't.
It was a little overloaded.
You didn't have room for that.
They couldn't handle the traffic, which is okay.
It's a lot of traffic.
It was fine.
But
we were texting each other in the morning. I'm like, I don't see it, Amanda. I don't think it's going to be posted in time.
I literally...
It worked out. It all worked out.
You know what?
Right before my post went up, the social media post, I edited to say, we may be a little... Or I think I went back in and edited them and said, slight delay, guys, but...
Yeah.
But it was fun. Glad so many of you did enjoy it and comment.
Yeah.
And actually, should we go ahead and talk about who won? And
yes.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good lead into this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had over 100 comments, which was really nice for our 100th episode.
Yes.
And our winner is Gail Corhonen, and she said congrats on 100 episodes, and that she would knit the Lone Skein shawl by Joji Locatelli
I love
with
that
the exclusive
one.
colorway.
That
Yeah,
would
that's
look
one that
really
Amanda's
great.
done.
I made that last fall.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. It's fun.
It's a nice sample too. We've got a sample of that in the store because Amanda made it as a store sample.
Yes.
And so Gail wins a skein of Springtime at Yarnia in your choice of base, whether it's the DK. Well, if you're going to do the lone, if you want to stay with your original thought,
Yeah.
which as we said we won't hold you to.
Yep.
We'll send you a skein of the Super Sock. But if you want to change to mohair or DK, let us know and just email us, Gail, with your contact info and all of that, and we will get your choice out to you.
Yeah, and
That's
it's nice.
awesome.
Congratulations.
The Lobby NMA, both the Super Sock and the Cashmerino, are enough to do the Lone Skein
Yeah.
shawl.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to take note of, the Lone Skein shawl requires 400 meters, which is different than 400 yards. So if you have a lot of American yarn brands have 400 yards.
Which is less than 400
Which is
meters.
less than 400 meters. And that's what I was looking at when I did it in the Dreaming Color Smushy Cashmere,
Yes.
which is lovely base, but I definitely ran out on like the last 2 rows. And just, I mean, it was no big deal because I've got a sizable scrap stash of fingering weight yarn, so I just picked one that was very similar.
Yeah.
Actually, the Helen Sophie Lobby Super Sock, and just like did the bind off and the little tassels with that.
Yeah. I have many shawls that have part of the bind off or a row, a couple of rows before the bind off in something that's going to enable me to finish in the color. Yeah.
So if you're using a skein that is a little bit short, you can pretty easily modify it for like a contrasting, like tip the edge or
just hide it in there.
You can modify it to go a little bit smaller, right?
Yeah,
you can
you can just
a little early.
Stop a little early. You could do there's these little lacy bits in there. You could do those in a contrast color. Right?
That'd be
that
pretty.
would extend
That would
your.
be cool.
Yeah,
Kind of similar to the Sylvia McFadden look that we were
Yes.
talking about last time.
Yes.
All those, right?
That would be cool.
I do like those. Those are so cute. Well, congratulations, Gal. I think that's a great prize and leads straight into finished objects because now we can finally show you guys in color.
Springtime at Yarnia.
I forgot some of mine.
Oh.
No, it's all right.
I feel like I did too because it has been 6 weeks since a regular episode, and I'm like, I don't even remember what I was working on. And I looked through the list of things, but
I lost one of my works in progress.
Oh no!
I gotta find it.
Oh no! Okay. So hopefully not lost, but just.
I know. Hopefully not lost. It's my size.
I'm sure it's somewhere in the house.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere
In a house. Somewhere.
in a house, wherever.
So
all right. So let's start with Kathleen socks because I feel like they coordinate with her.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then we can talk about other finished objects later, right? We'll just do all of this.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I've got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, Amanda, why don't you start, and then because I've got something that goes with this.
We'll go through this. We might mix it up and splice together because I might have to do my whips.
That's right.
Yeah, later. Yeah.
All right. Springtime at Yarnia. Birds of a feather. Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah. Let's see.
In person, I don't know how much they're going to be able to see the speckles on camera, but it is really pretty in person.
Get closer because it's so.
You can see the
beautiful.
wingspan. It's quite a large shawl. And then up close, you can see the speckles, both in the Super Sock and the mohair, which really looks watercolory.
I love it in the mohair. I mean, I love it in all of the bases, but seeing how it knit up in the mohair is just, it's so pretty.
Yeah, I love this shawl. I need to take pictures of it. But this one is designed by Andrea Mowry, Birds of a Feather. It was made, it was actually in Lina issue number 2.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. Wow.
Not either.
Yeah, and then it's obviously available on Ravelry now, which is where I got it because I don't have those vintage copies. But yeah, it starts here like
Mm-hmm.
with just a little bit of a cast on, and then there's alternating sections of the mohair by itself and the super sock, and it just sort of like grows from there. It was made to have or to be in a mohair and a fingering of the same color, so it sort of like plays together that way.
Oh, that's the birds of a feather. Oh, I'm smart. Takes me a while.
They flock together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
I honestly didn't realize that either. So
I
don't
didn't.
feel so bad.
Okay, good. That makes me feel. I'm like, it literally did not.
I just
occur
thought it was
to me.
like a big bird wing. I mean, that's kind of what,
that's kind of where I was like, oh, sure, birds of a feather, and then I was like, oh.
one thing I really like about this, which is not the case with some other shawls, one thing that I get bored with is when I have a shawl at the end that's like 500 stitches across.
Yes.
That gets really annoying.
It does.
I don't know.
Because you're
It's
just like,
my own
this goes
thing.
so quick, and then you're like, oh my god, this is going to take me
Oh,
a year
wow.
to do.
But she did a
around.
really cool job of,
Mm-hmm.
there was like 210 stitches at the end, and it never got more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
from this corner, like all
Yeah.
those decreases, it was only 210 stitches on any row,
It's very
which makes it
cool. It's
pleasant.
it doesn't ever feel endless.
right. It never
yeah.
felt endless.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I'm so
And you
I
did it
can't
really
believe-
quickly too.
Yeah.
Because you got it done.
I can't believe I
Before
finished
Woolwalk.
it so quickly. Yeah, and it was
Nothing
lovely.
like a deadline.
Oh my goodness.
Deadline knitting, man.
But I mean, and then they have like these little lace panels in here, right? So it's like easy knitting, TV, car knitting, whatever. Then you've got just a few rows of lace, which keep it interesting. But yeah, this was such a fun shawl. Highly recommend. I really loved it, and I think everybody who saw me knitting on it. Apologies to you guys who had to see it in gray. There were folks who are non-knitters, family, who like got to see previews of it, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, I love that shawl." Yeah, I mean, it's like such a not a statement piece, I would say, but just like really eye-catching in a
Yeah.
subtle way.
Yeah.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Yeah, I agree. And actually, we sold, during Woolwalk, we sold quite a few kits.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically 2 skeins of the sock and 1 skein of the mohair. So if
That's all
you
you
too
need.
would like to do a shawl just like Amanda's, that's all you need to order. Springtime at Yarnia, 2 skeins of super sock, 1 skein of the silk mohair.
Yep, and then you do have, I'd say, the second skein I probably used 40% of, which means
On the sock.
Yeah, on the sock.
So you've got enough to make socks.
Which is the
gosh, you
whip
could make
that
Oh,
I
is
lost.
that the whip that's lost?
no!
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
kind of why I wanted to hold off and go later too, because I've got finished object and whips.
So I will
From that.
The
have,
combo.
If you find it, yeah.
I
throw
will
it in.
have, I will find it in the next 2 weeks, I hope, because it's my Helen Stewart socks.
Oh yes,
Oh,
and you want to keep up
Yes,
with
your
that.
sock
want to-
society.
Show you guys the progress because it's super fun, but I can't because I lost them. Oh well.
All right, Jen, you want to show off your finished object
Yes.
on this?
All right. So, what I did in the Yarnia cover Springway at springtime. Oh my God, I can't talk. What I did in the special colorway there, I don't even have to say it, is the Arco Iris sweater by Joji Locatelli,
So
which
pretty.
is a V-neck fitted 0 to 2 inches of ease, although very easily. You can just size up if you want a little bit more ease, and she's got a very wide size range, so that's definitely feasible no matter what size you are. And top-down raglan with a really nice ribbed cable cuff detail and cable bottom and cable rib on the neck. So
It's a nice depth for I put this one on right before we started. It's a nice
it doesn't show
V.
too much. It
Yes.
when you're knitting it, you're like, wow, that is a low V, and then you're like, oh wait, I have
You
a
can fill it
wide
in.
rib
Yeah.
that is going to fill that in.
that makes a difference.
And you want it to be though, so you really see those cables.
You
if
absolutely
it were
do.
if it were only an inch long, you would not
You'd be
maybe not
like-
even really notice they were
You'd
cables.
be like, your rib is a little lumpy, and you're like, oh no, it's a cable, right?
Yeah, but you know,
Um,
Kohi is so good. She definitely
She's really good.
those details.
you-
They're beautiful.
What's the gauge on? It's like a nice dense gauge for a DK. I like it.
It is, and do I recall what? No, I don't.
Looks
recall
like
what
at
it
least
was.
5 stitches to the inch.
It's about. It's like 5.5, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it's 5.5. Do I recall? I probably did it on a 4 or a 5.
Yeah.
Knowing That's like a normal person's 5 or 6.
Right.
The Loose Knitter Club.
Yes. I'm like, loose knitters. And I did do one slight modification, and it's just one that on the increases on the neckline, I did them 1 stitch in instead of right at the edge. I don't like picking up from
Yeah, that kind of edge.
like that kind of wonky edge, that stair-steppy edge.
Yeah,
so I did
agree.
it 1 stitch in to make it a little bit more fully fashioned, and that's the
Very
only
nice.
tweak I made.
Very nice.
But it went nice and quick. I did alternate skeins on the bottom part of this, but I don't know that I would have had to. And when I alternated skeins, I did it helical style, just because that's how I like to alternate skeins when I'm knitting in the round. But I don't think you necessarily need to. Like, I did the sleeves, I didn't alternate skeins at all, and I think
You can't tell the difference.
I don't think you can really tell the difference. Now, if you had a very, like, if you're doing this in a different colorway.
So you didn't do it up here, and you did down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Let me show you.
I'm gonna grab some.
If you were doing a different colorway of hand-dyed yarn, you may need to do that.
Alternated.
For this specific colorway, if the skeins kind of visually look alike, and there's not one that is substantially, like, darker than the other,
Here's the front.
I think that you would be fine, but you're gonna have to look and see at the yarn that you have on hand to make sure. But this is kind of colorway where it's like a tonal background, right? It's like cream to taupey, very pale taupe with significant speckles, and the speckles aren't striped, the stripy kind of speckles, right? They're truly
speckled. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of La Bien-Aimée colors are, I don't know what you call that. Like, it's not, they don't pool in the same way that like a lot of
they're more, they appear to be more random. Yeah.
This one, right? Like in it.
Yeah.
And you know what I realized we forgot, because she's not here today.
Oh yeah.
Haley also made something in our custom color Springtime at Yarnia. She made the Manhattan beanie, I believe it is, right? No, Brownstone beanie, by Tori Yu. And it came out really cute too. And you can see the difference in kind of how it pooled here. But it still looks nice. It's not too stripy. It really is. Looks great. So, so this is another store sample here. And she definitely had some left over. She might be making shorty socks out of what she has
this
left.
one, how like the brim is in the fingering weight held alone. And then the top is held double. So it's like the brim is cozy. And then the top goes so fast.
Yeah, like, and it's just you're
to what cool decreases too.
Cool decreases. Very for kind of a simple beanie. It's got a lot of thoughtful details in it. Oh, and even the you'll see if you look at this part, instead of having pearl bumps on the inside on your forehead, it's stockinette.
Oh,
she does all kinds of fun things with it.
It's a very thoughtful pattern.
It is. So I'm gonna have to make something in that one when I'm back to hat knitting. Which I don't know when that's going to be.
Although I will say hat knitting is kind of nice to do in the warm weather if you want to stock up.
Very
if you're
portable.
Doing, like, if you think ahead for like gifts and stuff, because it's small, but it's not sock small.
Oh, you think ahead for gifts.
Oh, I think about the concept.
Right.
Do I execute it? No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm off the hand knit gift bandwagon. You know what? I think part of it is too, like, if you've got kids in school and everything, it's such a thoughtful teacher gift and things like that. Like, for people that, those teachers that would see me walking around knitting all the time, like, when I'd give them a hat, eventually they'd be like, oh my God, thank you, you know. It's like, they know it's something you really spent your time on, you know. Yeah. So I don't have that anymore, having a college student. I've never even met most of these people.
Who knows how to hand knit and crochet, so she can make her own.
Exactly. Well, she did that actually for both of the teachers who did her recommendations from Montclair High. She made a beautiful scarf for one of the teachers, and I forget, maybe a hat for the other one. So as part of her thank yous.
That's a lovely thank you.
Yeah. So because I was mainly working on Wool Walk setup, and well, these guys were, busy doing many other things too, but maybe had a little more knitting time than I did at that point. I kind of cheated and Seisha cranked a tube.
That's awesome.
But I think it's perfect to show that, hey, you can crank a tube.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, we've had 2 people, in the last week, buy tubes of this online and get it cranked. So Seisha was cranking this week. We have to we definitely have to. Well, we just did an order this week, a little fill-in order, because we sold so much LBA during Wool Walk and a little bit before that. And our next big order is in September. So one of the things we got is like more good contrast colors for heels and toes that go with this, and some of the colors of mohair
Mostly
that
the
sold
colors
out.
that you're going to see here. Tang.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's true. All the colors that we used. So those will be in like right around June 1st, I think, or the week of June 1st anyway. We'll be getting those really. So that was kind of a really fun bonus thing this week.
We got thank you, Amy and team.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, Amanda, would you mind bringing it up? I do love the way Tang works with this, to me, especially when I was doing it in black and white. I don't know if you remember back to what those pictures look like, but
look at that.
It has the same effect, but it's just with a bright pop background versus the very neutral kind of. That's
cool. Much better in color.
That's a really good observation. Where it's also got
Thanks.
Tang also has these like scattered randomized speckles.
Yeah.
And
it's got like lighter areas and speckles, so it really does echo it. It is my favorite. And this was Cashmerino. In the next order, I got it in Super Sock because I feel like for socks, I mean, a lot of people are using it for that. So, and I know a couple of people are waiting on, getting some more of that in. So that includes you, Laura.
Yeah, a neon orange sock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I didn't even bring that, but I am, of course, going to make myself a pair in that.
Yeah.
Because I've got tons left. So anyway, I just wanted to show you all the other things. I wanted to go last because not only, you got the tube,
and then
I've got these two more socks. Oh my gosh. We only did one. It's a store sample. There's one. So these are for me. And I still had this much over.
Goodness, that's a lot.
So I know, right? I mean, you totally can make
a lot with the
two adult pairs of socks with the tube. But you know what I'm going to do with this? And we'll kind of keep track of this throughout the summer as I actually work on it. I'm going to make inside-out socks.
Oh.
So, because I've always been curious about that, like how would it feel? I feel like the stockinette reverse,
I bet it would feel
rather than the
really
reverse
nice.
stockinette would be really nice on the foot. So I'm just going to do shorties. I'm going to probably, there really won't be any, whatever. I'll do an afterthought heel. There may be nothing other than, ribbing above this. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it fits. Yeah, and I haven't actually placed heels on either one of these, but I've been having fun working with my little sock tube.
I love it.
So
I love it. It looks so cute.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun, and we hope you all will enjoy some springtime at Yarnia.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and we know one person that will be enjoying springtime at Yarnia.
That's right,
Gail.
Congratulations again, Gail. And we will have another giveaway later in this video. So
yes, for sure. So
stay watching. So Amanda, you've got very limited time. Tell us.
I will tell you my other finished object.
Oh yeah, your other finished object. And then
I'm wearing it.
Yay! Mm-hmm.
I finished my Flower Buds by Astrid Troland.
It's really pretty. I really do like it.
I love this. I finished it. I really wanted to finish it in time for Wool Walk.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I started when Amy was here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's knit with Cashmerino and silk mohair. The mohair silk, Labina May held together, and the Cashmerino is in Glacier, and the silk mohair silk is in Jasper, which is one of the ones we reordered.
Yep.
And it's lovely. This is like the best mohair silk I've ever used. It has so good.
And it has such a glow to it. It's well, you're using it too right now. Yeah.
There is no prickle. I mean, I will say I've used other ones, and you can feel a texture. I don't mind. I mean, I will funeral garden next to skin, so I'm probably not the gauge of like what's prickling. But yeah, this one is like delicious soft. So I finished the back. I started the back. I finished the back in 10 days when Amy was here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started Birds of a Feather and other things.
Yeah.
And like, it was, I just didn't finish it. And it was sort of like, there. I had to finish it. So I'd done like maybe this much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I went to Mexico to visit my sister. This is the only thing I brought.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not true. I also brought a whip, which I was very glad to have. Because, for two reasons. First, because I finished the front while I was in Mexico. Yay! And second, because I forgot to take my needles off of my knitting when I came back to the United States.
And did they throw them away again?
And bringing knitting needles on the plane from Mexico is no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had it in the bottom of this bag, the front and the bottom of this bag, but I had the other project on top. which uses a crochet hook.
Uh-huh.
And the airport security guys were like, pull that bag. So they were looking at it, and the girl looked through it, and she pulled out this. She didn't dig further in the bag. She said, "It's a crochet hook, guys." And they're like, "What is that? Is that dangerous?" And she's like,
"No, it is not
it's a
dangerous.
crochet hook." And she was giving them such a withering stare.
You're like, yes.
Oh my goodness.
I feel you.
So I'm like, yay, thank you. The knitting gods were looking after me.
Oh, for sure.
My top got home, no problem, and that was fine. And I was working on that crochet project, which I actually have to dash, but I'm going to debrief Jen and Kathleen on my other whips so they can give you a little bit of an update on those.
Well, and you'll probably get to tape. You'll tape something and show them, right?
No.
No.
So Amanda had to run.
Yep.
But we have been briefed on her whips, and we will get to the whips in a moment. But we're going to finish up with our finished objects.
Yep.
I'm wearing nothing knit today.
It was actually a little warm today.
It's going to be 83 today, as
Wow.
was announced to me by the 9-year-old this morning, who's like, it's
Ollie's
going to be
now
83.
father
And I was
weather.
like, all right, thanks, Mr. Weatherman. So why don't you talk about your finished objects, because you have a bunch.
All right. Well, I think I really only have two, but
That's a bunch.
that's a well.
I do
One
have
is a
one
fingering
of
weight
that,
sweater
but yes.
for
Yes,
me.
one is a
That
fingering
is
weight
that's
sweater.
substantial. So I am wearing my Tenya, which you've seen before. I started it. I don't know. Probably showed it a couple of times. I made a few changes from the way the pattern is written. But first, it is Tosh Sock in the color Citrus.
Such a pretty color.
I love it. I really do. It's so warm. It's like, it's really got some
It glows.
yellowy tones in there with the
Yeah.
orange. I did not alternate skeins. We were talking about this with, Springtime at Yarnia before. I really did compare the skeins before I started.
Yeah.
Both, when they were in skeins, when I opened them into loops, and when I made them into cakes.
Yep.
And I decided that they were similar enough. This isn't even quite 3 skeins.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I love the lace pattern on the bottom of the Tenya.
It's so pretty.
I'll send Amanda some pictures, so you can get a better close-up of that.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
So, it is really, when I originally made this pattern, it was more of a speckled yarn. It wasn't even heavily speckled, but it was just enough that you really don't see the lace in the same way as you do with this semi-solid, and I'm really happy that I did make it. So some of the changes that I made were, it is supposed to be a short sleeve sweater, like above the elbow.
Okay.
But I had decided that, any kind of wool sweater that is, that with sleeves that long, there just aren't that many days during the year where it feels comfortable to me to wear it. I'm sure Amanda would get more wear out of it.
I think
than
Amanda
me.
would
She
get more
doesn't.
wear out of it. Or if you're in like Northern California, right? When you're like, what's the coldest winter I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco. The Twain coat, but like that kind of temperature. But here it gets hot pretty quickly.
Yeah, like once it turns to really being like late spring, it's too warm, and also we get a fair amount of humidity. Nothing like the South, but still enough. Enough that it bothers me.
Yeah.
So so I thought the 3/4 sleeves, like I will wear this, on those days when it's like 70 degrees here. It'll be perfect. It's still, it's light enough because it's fingering.
Yes.
The sleeve length. So what would you call this? It's not really 3/4. I don't know. Anyway.
It's like a high 3/4, right? Like, because some 3/4, it's like this 3/4. I guess that's like a true 3/4, as opposed to like bracelet, which is kind of where I'm between a bracelet, like I feel like hits right at your wrist.
Right? Kind of the upper end, right?
Yeah, above your watch.
Which actually, I know that you love that length. That length makes me crazy.
Because you're like, it's not long enough. It's not short enough.
It's not long enough to be cozy. It's not short enough to be short. It's like it. Hey, do it.
Because I keep shoving things up
you.
to that length anyway, so I'm like, this way my cuffs don't short out. I would say that's like 3/4, but
and also because it is drop shoulder, if it weren't a drop shoulder sweater, it would probably look more 3/4. It looks kind of like a half now because the sleeve actually doesn't start till here.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it actually. Like knowing how the other one didn't work for me. Thank you. The way the other one didn't work for me, I think this will be fine. Like, it's not so long that it's really long and then it's just going to be too hot.
Well, and I think that's going to be a really good, like, spring and fall sweater.
Exactly.
I mean, I would wear that length of sleeve in winter, too. But I know you like cozy.
I like coziness in the winter.
But but I feel like this is going to be like a perfect October sweater too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Haley was saying. She's like, that could be your Rhinebeck sweater. I'm like, if it's 70 degrees, it'll be my Rhinebeck sweater.
I was going to say, that's the thing, because Rhinebeck can either be cold or really hot.
Like Zoe Ranunculus.
Right, exactly.
Right? Yep.
So like you need your options.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I'm really proud of myself that I finished this, and you'll see in a little bit, once I finish a sweater, I always like to start a new sweater because there's always a long queue of sweaters. So I have something that I was swatching for earlier today.
Nice.
That is going to be my next sweater.
Oh, I'm excited to hear it.
So yeah. So why don't you do?
Okay, so I have two. I realized I do have two finished objects, but one of them I gave away on Mother's Day.
That's right. You finished it.
I started and finished a 2 Tendrils cowl. And finished.
Do you want me to grab the sample?
Oh,
we have?
Yes, that's a great idea.
Grab that.
And I did it in the khaki green color.
Mm-hmm.
So, my mom, and I said this before, my mom cannot wear wool. She's allergic to it. She can do alpaca, but more importantly,
I'll give you the green to hold.
she can do silk.
Yeah, so I will hold this up.
Yes.
Since I'm on this side.
So this is
so you can see some of the details. And this is one that Amanda made for herself, I think, a while back.
Yeah.
And this is the dark lilac color.
Which is such a pretty color. I texted during Wool Walk, I texted my mom a picture, and then, like, basically later on in the day, I had to call her and say, look at your texts. And I was like, this color or this color? And I think I knew which one she was going to pick. Or, you know what, maybe it wasn't even the dark lilac color. I think I showed her the pink
the other one,
color,
and
right?
this is watermelon pink.
And this one is fern green, which is a really, really pretty green, like a khaki green.
It is. I love that green. I would definitely do something with that.
And then the moonlight blue is also so pretty. And so it's 3 skeins of the Muse Art worsted weight silk, which is 98 yards or something like that per skein.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're only $22 a skein. They're really reasonable.
Yeah, it's really reasonable for 100% silk.
And 100 grams. I mean, it's
it's a decent. And this pattern pattern is by Jen Weissman, Shady Stroll, and it's so well written.
And she's
all of her patterns.
Our neighbor here,
yeah, neighbor. And it was a nice, really fun, quick knit where it starts at the bottom and you go
that's
up
always fun when you decrease as you go too.
You're just like zip zip zip.
Mm-hmm.
I was done before I knew it, and I blocked it the night before Mother's Day.
Beautiful.
And I was like, it's still wet. Here you go.
But still, that's nice to be able to actually give it to her on Mother's Day.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that was my goal, is to give it to her whether it was blocked or unblocked.
Mm-hmm. So that was perfect. It was all she had to do was let it dry.
Perfect timing. I was like, just let it dry, you're done.
Excellent.
And it was really nice. And the drape of the worsted weight silk is really, really, it's really nice. Like, it's very pretty. It's got a really pretty sheen. Yeah. And you don't often see silk in a worsted weight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got like a sheen, but not a shine.
Yes.
It's very subtle. It's really,
you're not
it's very
be
sophisticated.
Like, I am wearing a shiny cowl on the face.
No.
You're like, it's just really nice and really drapey.
Very elegant looking.
Yeah, really, really elegant looking. I really liked it. So I did that last week. And then this weekend, I made a little clutch out of the Noro Asaginu,
which is off the screen, I think.
Paper linen yarn.
We'll grab a couple of these.
So this is the clutch. It is, I believe, the summer clutch. It's crocheted, and it's just a little zippy thing. And you can put a closure on it, a little button, but it is half double crochet and puff stitch, and a really cute construction too, where it kind of goes from the center out, and you make the scallopy bits as you go working around.
Oh, nice. Rows. Yeah. Cool.
I did modify it slightly because it called for a yarn that was a little bit thicker, so I just changed the size of my hook to suit the Asaginu. And I made it a little bit shorter. And because of the construction of this, it just means it's not width-wise, it's just depth-wise. So, and I used one full reel of this.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
So you start at the center.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So instead of, I think it's supposed to be chain 70, and I chained 60.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did 10 half double crochets. And I had to rip it out once because I realized about 3/4 of the way through the first time that there is a British double crochet and there's American double crochet. And I was doing it in American double crochet. And I was like, wow, this looks really open and a little bit too lacy and not like the picture. And then I realized, I think they're calling for British double crochet, which the American is half double crochet.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
I love it. It's really nice.
And I also added another round. You're supposed to finish it with a round of single crochet and then a round of slip stitch. And I did 2 rounds of slip stitch around just the little semicircle, mostly because I really like the look. It almost looks like a
beautiful.
Flat braid, like an I-cord, and it reinforces it a little bit.
Yeah.
I did that on the raffia hats that I've done. 2 rounds of slip stitch around the edge just makes a really nice, slightly stiffer, looks really nice brim.
There went another color. I just pulled out a few of the colors of the Asagino. Yeah, the pink is very much like your sweater.
It's very much like my sweater.
We've got navy. I think we've got 8 colors altogether. We
have like
a natural.
Yeah. A brown.
Mm-hmm.
A really pretty navy.
This is the same green that Jen used,
Yes.
and the orange that I'm going to use for my hat is on the floor.
So it disappeared.
Yeah, they're all on the website though.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things Jen and I have been talking about when we see each other on Thursdays for intermediate class is the hat cowl that we're going to do. So we're
do a hat cowl.
we're working on that, but this is the yarn we're going to use, and Jen has done other hats like this before, like she was just saying. So when we're ready, you'll hear more about that. But I think that's going to be really fun.
I think it'd be super fun. And then I think
we'll have
like a collection of patterns that you could use or kind of wing it depending on your.
But
level.
we both especially we're into our own hats because we both have big heads.
It is impossible for me to find like a sun hat that
commercial
fits.
hat. I found one last summer.
Oh, really?
I told you.
That's right.
At Ben Franklin in Chatham on the Cape, and I was so happy. I mean, it's so unusual. It's like one time out of 20 that I actually try on a bunch of hats do I find one that fits me, like a commercial shaped hat.
I always try them on, and I'm always like, oh look, it's sitting on top of my head, and never does it ever hit here. I have one that I ordered from San Diego Hat Company. One. And a bunch that I've made. And I have to say, like, the crocheting the hats is very satisfying. All you really need to know is single crochet.
Yeah. Just work around, use your stitch markers, so you know where your end of round is.
Use your stitch markers. That's really
an important thing.
But yes, we'll be keep an eye on this space here.
Yes.
For a hat.
And our newsletter.
A hat cowl.
Sign up for the newsletter.
Hat cowl.
Yeah. So I have one other finished object. Yeah. It's funny. I thought I would have more than one, but I don't know. I've been kind of dabbling in a lot of things and not finishing a lot right now. But this, I hadn't even started this, 8 days ago.
Yeah.
This is one of my most favorite things I've made in a while. It is a super cute, if I do say so myself, crochet bag.
It is so cute.
And the pattern name, it is the Sweet Summer Sunflower Bag by 365 Crochet Knit 2.
God, it's
so
cute.
You can get a paid version of the pattern on Ravelry, but she also has it on her blog. And because I've been wanting to make something like this for a while, and I kind of thought I knew what I wanted to do, and I just decided to use hers for reference. I just did refer to it on the blog. I didn't actually buy it and print it out. But I was also inspired by one Ravelry user who made one that was very like Ukrainian flag inspired. It was like a French blue background, and then the sunflowers in more traditional sunflower colors with brown, yellow, darker yellow. She was the one who did the outlining, which I think really makes it.
I love the outlining.
I think the outlining is so fun.
I think it just it ties it all together. It makes everything pop.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. It's so bright.
It's so fun. So I do. I'll go ahead and bring this up and talk a little bit when I get up there about my granny square method, because I think it is one reason that I was able to get it done in 8 days. It was funny. Susan, our main crochet instructor, was here last Monday with a student learning crochet, and they were working on granny squares, and I said, I'm waiting, today when I get home, I'm going to start this granny square bag. And I don't know, one of them said, well, how long do you think it'll take you? I said, well, I hope it'll be done by next week. And they're like, no, that's a whole bag. That's a long time. Because also, I can't crochet for that long, like at a sitting. Crochet, I definitely get more hand pain when I crochet for long periods than when I knit. Knock on wood, I feel like I can say normally I never get hand pain when I knit, regardless of how long I knit for. There's something about the motion of crochet, and it often is my left hand that hurts, even though I'm right-handed. Well, it's the way I hold.
You're pinching.
Yeah, you're holding something. It's a different
motion.
Yeah, exactly. So when I make granny squares, and these are a form of granny square, even though they're basically sunflowers. However many I need to do, I usually do one first. Mm-hmm. I do a complete one to make sure I like the color order, that I like the size, all of those things. And after I do my one, I make all the first rounds. Put them aside. All the second rounds, put them aside. It just goes so much faster if you don't have to refer to anything, if you know what it is you're doing.
Yeah. You're like, now I'm making the circles.
Exactly.
Now I'm doing puff stitches.
Exactly. So yeah, first round is double crochets, second round is puff stitches, third round, I think she called them bobbles, but they're, I don't know, from other patterns that I've done, they're double crochets that are incomplete, and then you do like 4 of them per group, and then you group them together at the end.
It's almost like a granny cluster that's like cinched.
Exactly. Yeah. So you kind of half do them, and you leave them. You wait till you have 5 loops on your hook, and then you pull through. Got it. And then you square it off to make it a nice square, granny. And I like the slip stitch join. I just like the way it looks.
I love it with the outlining. It just looks so sweet.
It's so fun. I'll give Amanda the name of the person on Ravelry, so we can put a picture of her bag in too. It's so pretty.
What yarn did you use?
I used Kinko Cotton Soft.
Nice. That's a good crochet yarn too.
It really is. It really, really is. And this was less than 4 balls. It was interesting because, this was done in worsted weight originally. Mm-hmm. I did work it in DK because that's what we have here, and I love the Cotton Soft, but I had some left over from another project. Mm-hmm. Well, the green, I didn't need a whole lot because it was the centers and the edging, which did not use a whole lot, but I wound up not even having to get one of those. And then this is how much I have left from a new bowl of gold. This is how much I have left. I totally, all I'd have to do to make another one is buy another skein of the background.
Oh, and you still have a little left of the background.
I even still have some left.
Oh, that's fantastic. So like 4 skeins.
Yeah, if you've got any scraps,
little shopping bag.
If you've got any scraps, really all you need is 2 colors.
Yeah.
Because the amount that you use for those first 2 rounds is really minimal.
Yeah, negligible.
But the gold, I don't know, maybe 100 yards I used out of almost 300.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was really fun.
Cute.
And actually, even with those being leftovers, I've already made some more granny squares out of this. Because I am just like on a granny binge lately.
Granny kick.
But look how cute that looks. Isn't that a nice order too?
I really like that order too.
Oh, actually, you know what? It's the same order except the white is on the inside.
It's the white. It's flapping the white and the
gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny. I didn't even realize that. But and again, so you can see I did one completely, and then I'm up to round. I've just completed the 3rd round on the other 3.
And you have them hooked all together.
Yeah, that's what I always do. I use a big stitch holder.
Yeah.
I'm doing that with my Ariana cardigan too.
That kind of process is like very helpful, I feel like, because otherwise you're just kind of like, oh, I'm going to do a whole granny square and then start from scratch again. Like do the centers.
Yeah, I think I should do a blog post on that.
You absolutely
because
should.
It really does save a lot of time, and it makes it very portable.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing it that way, if you've got a bunch to do, you only need to carry one color with you.
Right.
You don't need to carry your whole big bag.
You do all the next rounds.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've really been so into crochet lately. I'm thinking about making a little bucket hat out of this. I think that would be so cute.
Cute.
Not for me. Maybe Haley would wear it. She'd probably be more likely to wear blues and things. I might put it in the store to sell. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or just leave it here as a sample, because this I am going to line, and this is going to be one of my summer tote bags. I love it. I like when I carry it around.
And it's a good size, too. It's not too big. It's not too small.
And it matches my sweater.
It matches your sweater.
Of course it does.
I love it.
So, very fun.
I love it.
All right.
What other whips do you have?
So other whips. And we will talk about this a little bit with new in store. Mm-hmm. But we did get. It's funny. I was going to say a new yarn. We had this yarn when we first opened. This was one of the first Nora yarns that we carried. It's called Sonata. But I do feel like the composition must have changed since we ordered it originally.
It could have been.
It was almost 6 years ago, right? So. I've been making granny squares with this also because the new Noro magazine should be in this week. And I remember when we ordered this like 6 months ago, there were some really fun things.
There were some cute grannies, right?
There was a jacket, I think, and it may have been these two colors. Our rep gave us these to play with. Yeah. So finally playing with it now that the yarn is here.
I really like how, I know, the yarn is here. Voila. I like how it looks because it's a single. It's not applied yarn.
Yes. Yeah.
But I really like how it looks in a granny square.
Yeah. I just remember. Different. It's funny. I think when we saw the mock-up of the magazine originally, the thing using this was on the cover. Yeah. Or at least, I don't know. Anyway, it was a big spread, and I was like, oh yeah, we definitely. If we don't get a sample of that, from the company, we'll either make it or make at least something to show the granny squares.
So you can see what it looks like.
Yeah, but it feels so nice. It really does. And I think
what is it? It's cotton and
my labels should be in here. Here they are. So it is 35 cotton, 25 viscose, 20 silk, and 20 poly.
Nice. That's a good combo.
It is 360 meters to 100 grams. And it's considered a sport weight. But I would say it's more
like DK-ish.
It's sport to DK. I'm crocheting it really more to DK gauge, and it looks fine. Like it looks fine. When I looked how thin it was on the hook, I'm like, I'm not sure if that's going to work, but I do think it looks fine.
It could be one of those, this is the thing, there's never a hard line between weights, right?
Exactly.
Something could be a heavy fingering or a light sport or
it is a continuum.
Or a light DK. Yeah, right. Exactly. It's a continuum.
Yep. So that is something to keep in mind.
That's really cool.
So so those are some like migrating into the whips. And then this was another new yarn that we got that I'm gonna do some playing with. Zoe Degradé, which Jennifer Moon's been very into the whole degradé. Well, it's funny because this one I would say is not quite as much of a degradé as their Cumulus degradé. This almost looks more like stripes. Yeah. Oh, do you know what? Haha, I think they changed the name from when we got the sample.
Oh, they may have called it gone from degradé to stripes.
See, I wasn't the only one who thought that. That is funny.
It was yeah. So degradé is basically like a gradient.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And stripes are stripes.
Stripes are stripes.
Stripes are stripes. And if you don't know what stripes are, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Keep going.
Do you want to do some whips or should I just keep going?
Do your whips.
All right, I'll finish my whips. So this, I don't think I showed this last time. Do you think I did?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Please forgive me if I did.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe,
show it now.
Maybe I just started it. So this is, it's the reason it's a whip is because I am going to finish it at some point. But it's what we call, thanks to Jen's cleverness, the lazy Nightshift. So one of our big sellers during the wool walk was these kits that we put together of one skein of How Nui, which is an undyed, it's the color of the sheep yarn as the background, and then one skein of Ito, which is a Noro yarn of the same weight. I'd call it an Aran, really. It's like a heavy, somewhere between heavy, worsted, and bulky. And basically the reason it's the lazy Nightshift is you just start with one ball of each of those and you knit. It's like no changing colors. It does the work for you. So
you don't need to pick a different colorway. You don't need to change the background color. You just keep one in the background and one in the foreground, and then boom.
And it really is like a long striping sequence. So it is going to cycle through the same color. So as long as you find, a combo where there's enough contrast between them, really that's all you need to do. We have virtually no Ito left, but another yarn that we have that is pretty similar is Viola.
Yeah, and that would look really pretty too.
It would totally work.
Really pretty.
Yeah, it is funny. When we first got them, Ito was much more like stripy and multicolored, and Viola was more solid. Viola is no longer solid.
No, Viola is so stripy.
It tends, I think, to be more or mostly like tones of a color.
Yeah.
Where the Ito was like really multicolored.
Right.
But if there's a color that you love of it, that would be really nice. So anyway, the How Nui, the background color, is still on sale. We've got a good quantity of that. And the Viola is also available on our website, which would make a great substitute for this.
It really would. I think that would be great. So you could put together your own
kind of make your own
kit. Where pick a ball of How Nui, pick a ball of either the Ito or the
three colors or the three skeins of Ito we have.
The three skeins of Ito,
which may be none by the time this goes up.
That's true.
But
or so the Viola. Well, I think the Viola would be really.
I think it would be fine.
I think
it really would.
Really pretty.
It really would. And I made a note on here that this sample uses 150 of the 400 grams between the two cakes.
Right. So
you can see it is going to be it is going to be much bigger. So
that's just a little. This is as far as I got before the wool walk, and now you can see what it looks like.
Exactly. And I did go up. Actually, I probably did this on the needle size that was listed on the balls because it is a shawl, so you don't want it to be any kind of stiff. Any kind of stiffness to it. You want it to be drapey. So that's the other reason that it's lazy and it goes so fast because this is probably done on like a 9. I think it was a 9.
And that's the thing, like for this kind of shawl too, because it's done from like you start at one point and you just get bigger. You can just use a different yarn than the weight that's called for.
Yeah.
As long as you use a needle size that's appropriate.
Exactly.
Now your finished result will be either bigger or smaller. But with that kind of pattern where it's basically like an asymmetrical triangle.
Yeah.
You just keep going until it's as big as you want, and then you're good.
Exactly.
That's the nice thing about that kind of shape of pattern is I feel like you start and you go.
It's very flexible.
You go until you're done.
You go until you're ready to stop, which is you've run out of yarn, or it's just big enough for you, or you're bored.
Or you're bored. Or you're like, that's good.
Like these sleeves are long enough.
Long enough. It's like rib till you're sick of it.
Oh, actually, I do remember I was knitting these during the coronation. I was watching some of the coronation stuff. Yeah,
they're coronation sleeves. We're gonna call that coronation length sleeves.
There you go. I think it would be very appropriate.
I know.
For
Coronation length sleeves. Your elbows are covered.
But
all right. It's still warm enough.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a very fast car that just went by.
So I have one more little thing that I'm going to show, and then because oh my gosh, it's late, but it's okay. So my sweater that I am going to make now that this sweater is done is I have it here. I don't remember the name. It is the Luminous Summer, and it is by Minimi Knit Design. And I've never heard of her before, but she has a lot of patterns on Ravelry. It was like 3 or 4 pages, yeah. Ooh. And they're very subtle. I saw it, somebody posted that they were making it on Instagram, and it caught my eye. It's very, it's just a simple. Actually, the neckline is very similar to this. Oh, I just realized I didn't ever talk about the other thing that I changed.
Oh, well, come back. You're still in the whip section.
Yeah,
we're still in.
I know.
So talk about.
Go back to Tenya, so sorry.
So, back to Tenya.
It's supposed to have a rolled neck. I did a little bit of
ribbing.
Yeah, and I
like the ribbing.
I did twisted rib on here to make it match the bottom.
Yeah.
Because it's twisted rib. Like there's not many places on here. I didn't do 3 knits between them. I did 2 knits between them.
Okay.
And then when I got here, I did twisted rib also, and it's only 1. It's alternating 1 by 1.
Yeah, you
twisted rib and purl.
There's enough space between the two that you can't tell that they're different. I like the twisted rib at the top. I don't always love a rolled neckline. Sometimes I do.
That is one of the things I didn't like about the one that I made, and I don't know. It just always feels a little like sloppy on me somehow. I like the nice kind of crisp feeling of this rib.
Yeah, you like a rib.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you learn what you like as you go, and you make some adjustments. Like even if you're making another pattern, there's somebody outside who's probably looking to come in for help. We are closed on Tuesday. Sorry.
Closed on Tuesday. Sorry, folks.
Every Tuesday.
It happens.
It does. So the Luminous Summer, back to this guy, is a very simple, like, summer short top, and it's a little bit swingy at the bottom. I might not make it as swingy, we'll see. But you just start with a cast on edge. It reminds me of something, and I can't think of what. Does that look like anything to you? It's a little hard to see. It's just like a simple
really
cast on
sweater.
It's got like one row of eyelets about an inch down. I assume you probably changed needle sizes, effectively ribbing basically to
do it a
stabilize the neckline. So this is written for 17 stitches to 4 inches. Okay. Which is just a tad over 4 stitches to the inch. So I thought, I really wanted to use the Knitted Wit Summer Slubbin'. And this is not quite in my usual color range.
I think it's so pretty.
I loved it. I really did. And I was like, I don't know.
Coral with the kind of like mossy
and it does have a little yellow in it and stuff. Yeah, and then a little bit. One of the things I always look for is like something that is going to contrast with my skin tone. Yes. Because I have made tops that are too close. And then like you walk around, you look like you're not wearing anything on top. You're like, it's a little weird.
It all blends in.
So, because this technically is a fingering weight, I'm like, okay, I'll hold it with another fingering. I started swatching. It's way too heavy. Yeah. It is way, way too heavy. So,
because the slubs kind of like fill in the space. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna rip this guy out. Literally, I started this today. So that I could say I had a sweater whip, because I like to have a sweater whip. Well, it's like when you the second sock. Like once I start it, I will finish it, or I will keep working on it.
You know what might work for that instead of another fingering is the
Findlay. That's what I was thinking.
Which is a wool silk lace.
Yep. And so one of the reasons I had decided this wasn't working for me is it's too marled looking, because they're both the same weight. They both kind of come to the front, almost evenly.
One doesn't recede.
But I was thinking with the Findlay, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was going to try two things. One with Findlay, and actually one by itself, and really just see how it is.
Be okay by itself.
And I would wear it with a tank under it. I just wear it with a cami, which it is a summer sweater. It is 100% wool, or close to 100% wool.
Yeah, it's almost 100% wool. But like the fabric that you get from the summer slubbing feels kind of cottony and airy. Yeah. It's like such a light wool.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep playing with it. I mean, I knew from doing the La Bien-Aimée boucle that would have been too light for me for a top. Yeah. And then I kind of made the leap and said, this is going to be 2. But I've seen you working on your Sophie scarf.
Which of course I forgot at home.
Oh no. And I know the fabric of that is not nearly as light.
It's not nearly as
light. So I have two things to try here. And actually, maybe I'll just try it by itself first. And then if I don't like that, then try the Findlay.
Color of the Findlay. Yeah. That would look really pretty. I would try it by itself first, because you might like it. And
that's kind of what I'm thinking. And just plan to wear a cami under it. Yeah. And because
it's cute. Or wear it over like a dress or something like that.
Yeah. I don't have that many dresses like you, but...
That just means you got to get them.
I know, I gotta get more dresses, but look how pretty those colors look together.
They look really
That
pretty.
was partly why I was excited to try this, but this is Tosh Sock in paper, and this is the Summer Slubbin', like we said, in French Court, which I think there is one skein left of. Yeah. So I just love the way the colors work together, but yeah, I think for a summer sweater, again, like my old Tenya it's like too warm for a really short sleeve thing. I think this may be the answer.
I think that may be the answer, because I feel like there's something about the way that's spun. Yeah. That
Well, just the curliness of it too. It just like there's space between it. So and that may be fine. If I just plan to wear a cami with it, it'll be fine. Yeah. So that is it for whips for me.
That's pretty good.
And my whole thought process.
And your whole thought I like it. So I forgot my Sophie shawl, which I'm doing in Summer Slubbin', at home, and I thought it was in my knitting bag, but I think it's on the couch. Because I was weighing it last night. I was weighing how much yarn I had to see if I'm at the point where it's time to decrease yet. And I think I've got like 5 more grams left to go. So next time, you'll see that. Mm-hmm. And then do I have any other whips that I forgot? No, because I stopped a bunch of stuff to like do the cowl and do the bag and stuff. So I do still have my Tsubaki. It's so short because I haven't done anything on it in weeks. Yeah. But it's all right. I'm on the body part. All right. So
the sleeves are done.
The sleeves are done. So by the time I'm done, it's going to be weave in the ends and then block it. Yeah. And it'll be It'll be fine. So
Right.
I'm going to try to work on this a little bit more. But this is the other thing. Like, I was working on a bunch of stuff, like, outside during Ollie's soccer games and stuff like that. So the silk cowl was great for that because I was like, small, portable. I remember the pattern. Not wool. Not mohair. Not sitting there with, like, the sun beating down on me.
Making it sticky in your hands, right?
Making my hands all sweaty.
I hate that.
So this is like an air conditioning project right now.
Yeah. And you're not going to wear it anytime soon either.
I'm going to wear it in like September, October. So I'm like,
realistically, October. I've noticed how September is no longer like September is definitely still summer in our part of the country for sure. It's like, you know, maybe the very last week is like transition to fall, but it's it's warm until then.
Warm.
It's
really
is.
warm.
Too warm for anything like that.
Unless you're Amanda. I was
exactly.
like, if you're an always cold, then it's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much where I've got with whips. The only other whip that I have is the 65 tabs in Ravelry open on my computer, looking for a summer sweater for summer sweater class. But in the meantime, Seisha has her summer sweater class.
That's right.
With the Salty Air tee that looks super cute. And so I was like, oh, what a good idea. I just favorited that. So I'm looking through a bunch of things that I have earmarked. And, you know, if you guys have suggestions for
so do we want to make, I mean, we're talking about, so why don't we have, what is your suggestion for Jen's summer sweater class?
What is my, what is your suggestion? For our giveaway this week, our question is, what is your suggestion for a summer sweater class? It can be a tee. I prefer it not to be a tank, just because, I don't wear tanks.
And as is totally totally reasonable. You're running the class. You want it to be something you can wear. So exactly,
But I think like for summer weight tee, like previous years I've kind of kept it to not fingering weight. But I think fingering weight is totally reasonable. And I think
there's
like
usually less fabric in the summer.
There's less fabric in the summer thing, and like you can go quicker. Like in the summer because
no
you're
sleeves or short sleeves, whatever.
Short sleeves, or maybe it's cropped, or you know, whatever, and you know, something that you know.
So it could be something, either something you have made, something you're thinking about making. Just something that you think. Something you think
that I should consider.
Yep, and
because I need help.
What they're going to win is we said.
What will you win?
Oh, we haven't showed it yet. So.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we showed it a little bit, but now we'll really show it.
Now we'll really show it.
So
we will show Noro Sonata,
which we talked about a little earlier.
It's a very you color.
It is very me color. I'm sure I was one who put it on the list.
I like that.
Oh, there's even another one in there that you'll like more.
Oh, is it this one?
Yes.
Because it's this one.
It's that one.
Here
there are 4 colors that are called Sonata Shima. And that is a multi, basically. And
so this is one of them.
For any of the multis, we have multiple solids that will go with it.
Yes, they're very. They coordinated the solids and the multis really well.
And I think we picked multis that worked with the solids that we like too. So there's a lighter gray too. Like if you like.
We have more colors. You can go on our website, shopyarnia.com, and if you just type into the search bar either Sonata or Noro, you can look and see all of the things that we have from Noro.
Exactly.
I do like this blue. I like this green too.
I like that green too.
It's a really pretty one.
Yeah, it's a good green.
So let us know what summer sweater I should do, or you think I should do. Give me a suggestion, and you can win your choice of color of Noro Sonata. And I have to say, it really is. It's got a really nice hand.
It does.
It's soft, but not. You know how sometimes cotton feels like string. Like sometimes hard
it doesn't have that stringy feel at all.
It doesn't have that stringy feel.
It's very soft. It must be the silk. Oh, I was saying, I was
going to say the silk and the viscose. The viscose helps with that like bounce. A little bit.
I wonder if they did actually change the composition of it from when we got it when we first opened, because I feel like the colors are so much more dimensional.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I mean, maybe
the colors are a little bit tonal. There's a little bit of variation in it. and I don't want to say it's like thick thin, but it's a single.
It's a little
It's like
thick thin.
tiny thick thin. I don't think it's like Zoe is very thick thin.
Yeah.
So you like when you knit it and stockinette, you see more slubby,
Mm-hmm.
which I think works so nicely.
Yeah.
For anything summery too.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little texture to it, but I think that's the same with the Noro Sonata.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great. I love it.
So between the solids and the multis, I think we have 20 colors of this.
Yes.
We really.
As an example.
when I was shelving it the other day, I was sending them pictures. I'm like, I am like a 5-year-old sometimes. It's like, look what I did.
You're like, look at it. It looks so pretty. But we're all like, oh my god, it looks so pretty.
We do have, and we've got more stuff coming in.
Yes, we do.
We definitely have more stuff coming in, and we didn't talk about Amanda's whips.
Well, I was just about to say we did not talk about Amanda's whips, but
she did brief us.
we have been briefed on Amanda's whips, so we're gonna start.
Let's do
and
that.
I'm gonna start with this sweater,
Yes.
which is the
Gib 2.
Gib 2 by Andrea Mowry, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, this is so nice. This is in, I think, the North Light.
Yep. In the Atlantic, I think.
In the Atlantic.
It does look so good.
And it's
it feels
basically
amazing.
like a sweater for a partner. It's a dude sweater. It's got a really nice cable detail down here. It feels amazing. This texture
It does.
thing
Oh my
is
goodness. And actually, we do know
like
it's
a seed.
podcast watchers that are out there ordering all of our Northlight.
As you should.
Thanks for those who have already done it. If you have any interest, it is beautiful yarn, and
It really
as
is.
we mentioned, they're not wholesaling anymore. So what we have is what we have. But go ahead and get it. We do still have sweater quantities in a handful of colors.
Yeah.
And actually, the same is true with Katya now. We just put that on our Instagram this week. They are no longer wholesaling, and we've had a variety of yarns from them in the last 3 years, say. Some of them did really great. Some of them, so-so. But the ones that we love, like Cotton Merino.
Love
Cotton Merino. So,
Yeah.
And
Cotton Merino glam.
funnily enough, we had just gotten 10 bags of it like 2 days before they announced this.
We're nicely stocked right now,
We are
but
nicely stocked, but it's not going to
they're
last
not
for
going to
long.
be wholesaling for very long, so we won't be able to get it
Well,
again.
it's already, we've
Yeah,
already,
it's already.
it's gone, even our supplier,
Bye, Katya.
it's, I bet we met with our rep a week ago. I bet by now it is completely sold out because he said
probably.
within 24 hours of the announcement, 80% of the stuff was gone.
Yeah.
So I bet it's completely gone now. So anyway.
But you can check and see what we have on
Yes.
both the Northlight and the Katya on shopyarnia.com.
Yep.
And you can check Katya is Katia.
Yep.
Northlight, 2 words. And Northlight, you can also visit them on Block Island,
Yes.
Rhode Island, which is
And
lovely. This
we
is
are
gonna
big
be
fans
a great,
of them. Yeah.
This is going to be a great sweater.
It is. I think that's the spruce
I
colorway.
really like
So
the
pretty.
squashiness.
Yeah.
Of it.
It's
It's so nice.
and the stitch definition is really exceptional.
It's beautiful. Well done, Amanda.
Good combo. Good.
All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about Amanda's, she would call it a workshop,
That's right.
but we call it a class
We do.
because it is a multi-session workshop, which is also known as a class. So she is doing a Cocoa Knits class, doing the Cocoa Knits method, which is by Julie Weisberger. And this is so nice and soft. This is Woolfolk Far.
That one's Woolfolk Far, and I forget what this is.
That is
What yarn
DK.
she used.
I don't remember what
It
yarn she
might
used, but it's
be
a demo.
It feels like the LRA. Yeah. So this is. And
LRA.
let me show this first, and then
Yes.
you show that one. So this is something that Amanda put together to really explain because she's working in charcoal gray yarn here,
Yeah.
which is not good for demonstrating to people
Hard to see.
either in class or certainly by Zoom.
In person, it looks beautiful.
It really looks pretty, but would definitely be hard to explain things.
Yeah.
So she's actually doing the sample, which will live here in the store, to show you how to work the coconuts method, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, she did each section in a different
color. So it's really
Which
easy
is
to
so
see
smart.
what is part of what section. And the coconuts method, there's a whole bunch of sweaters patterns that Julia Weissenberger has written that use this approach. So once you understand the method, you can apply it to many different things.
Yeah. And you can easily kind of swap in necklines or sleeve lengths. Or shape,
exactly. It is kind of like a
cardigan
make your own
pullover.
adventure sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
she
one
has
thing
a whole
that's
worksheet in a book.
yeah.
And we sell the book, The Coconuts Method.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically fill out your worksheet.
Mm-hmm. And then that sort of becomes your pattern to some
you
degree.
work from there. That has all of your numbers in it.
Yep. And one thing if you see this up close, there are all the different colored markers in here. That is also their Cocoa Knits markers, the fixed ring, and that is all part of it and helping you know what to do when.
So it's like you knit to the blue marker, you knit to the green marker.
Exactly. So I think this
really
is
handy.
so clever that she did this and it's going to live in the store.
Yeah, that little mini is so smart. So this is, I don't remember which sweater she's
the Franca,
doing.
which she's already made for herself
sweater,
at one point. Yep.
In Far, and right now it's basically like this is the sleeve shaping.
Yeah, almost
right
up
here.
to the sleeve divide,
almost
sort
up
of.
to the sleeve
Like
divide.
2/3 of the way, maybe. I don't know. And this is for her dance instructor.
Yes, and this is going to be really nice and like really cozy and really soft. So this is the second darkest colorway of Woolfolk Far.
There is like a true black, but this is the charcoal gray.
This is the charcoal gray, which I think is a really nice charcoal gray.
It is. It's beautiful.
It reads really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those
and,
are
those are
whiffs.
her 3 whips that she left with us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love this idea of just knitting a little sample with color changes so you can kind of understand what's going on. And she did it by knitting the smallest size, scaling down the yarn, and just using a needle appropriate for the yarn. But I feel like this is a really
this will be a great teaching tool that she'll have forever.
Absolutely. It's an easy way to say, like, okay, this is this section, this is this section, this is what it's going to look like. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, even if you know what you're doing, you still have no idea what it's going to look like. Because you're like, this is weird.
Trust the process.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to just trust the process.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cool. Hopefully we did you justice, Amanda.
Hope so.
And I'm just trying to think if there was anything else. We covered our giveaway. Give me suggestions for a summer sweater.
Yeah.
And then you too can win some Sonata. And maybe the Sonata is a perfect choice for the summer sweater that you suggest. Yeah. I was like, I kind of like some of those colors.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess that is it. So,
I guess that's it. So thank
that's
you guys.
episode 101. Yeah, and we do always forget to say, thanks for watching. If
we so appreciate it.
A new viewer and you stuck with us this far, you're amazing.
And you did great.
We didn't even digress that much today, though.
I don't think we just had all the things.
You know what? I think we did macro digressions today instead of our usual micro digressions.
I think we did. We went big scale.
Switch the order of some things.
Yeah.
But you know what? We keep you on your toes, right?
It's episode 101. We got to keep things fresh.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So make sure to like and subscribe down below. You'll get, if you click the alarm bell, you get notifications of when we post new videos, which includes podcasts and then additional content, special episodes, and whatnot.
And that's usually every other Saturday.
Yep.
So
aiming for around 10 a.m.
As long as there's not a coronation going
on. As long as there's not, another king being coronated and the Kentucky Derby being run, all those fun things.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching, and make sure to follow us online. We're at shopyarnia.com. We're at shopyarnia on Instagram and Facebook. And
you can sign up for our newsletter at the bottom of any page on our website.
Right. Sign up for our newsletter at the bottom.
Jen does a great job. She writes it every week. I edit it and sometimes miss things, like I missed something. As soon as I looked at it today when it came out, I was like,
oh no, what was it?
It's the date. It's something that will have passed by the time this is out.
Oopsie.
The Knit Night, the Emily, Jane Austen. It said Wednesday the 19th, and I missed it. I totally missed it too. That's my job is to catch the things.
Probably the second or third time.
I think it's the second.
The big section about it had the right date.
Yeah. It's
the rest of it didn't. Sorry.
But
go online. You'll find it. Shopyarnia.com.
It's on our calendar. It's on our calendar. Exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.